Hi there everyone, thanks to my new subscribers and to my old subscribers. So today I'm going to do what would he tell you if he could. Pick a card. So you choose a number 1 or 2 and the timestamps are in the description box. Just ask the cards, what would he tell my channel viewer if he could? What would he tell my channel viewer if he could? So I get the impression from these cards that he would tell you that he lies about not being in love with you. He would tell you that he doesn't want to be apart from you, but he's instituted a hard break from you. He would tell you that you're the only lady that has made him truly happy, that he's thought over his emotions for you a lot, and that he's never felt strongest except in your presence. He would tell you that he's been feeling very introverted. He's been very quiet. He would tell you that he's made a decision to not communicate with you presently, but that you truly do make him happy. And he's just trying to get some rest from the thought of you. He would tell you that he feels that his character doesn't suit yours. He would tell you that he feels like he's not ethical enough for you in love. He would tell you that he's a distance away from you at the moment, that he's made a decision to keep apart from you. I feel he's made this decision, that he would tell you he's made this decision because he's up against something difficult, and it has something to do with rumours, gossip, particularly a male who's quite harsh. So he would tell you that he doesn't want you affected by the gossip around him. He doesn't want you affected by his darkness. Because I feel that this person's quite conscious of his dark side, of his negativity. Sometimes he can be dishonest, but I feel he would tell you that he felt like a pure being when he was with you. And I feel like you re-energized him. I feel like he felt that he was closer to God when he met you. And that's a pretty strong statement. It's like you stopped him from indulging in a side of himself which isn't very nice. I feel that he would tell you that he's quite uncultured in his mannerisms, in his characters at times. I feel that he would tell you that he can be very insular, very introverted. I feel that he would tell you that he thinks about you a lot. I feel that he would tell you that he's planning on making an escape from where he is. And at that time, he'd like to move closer to the light. He'd like to be able to follow the light back to you. And I feel that means that he'd like to wait for a better day for himself until he returns to you. Because I feel he wants to tell you that his dark side isn't right for you, and also the negativity around him he feels isn't right. And he feels like he met you at a better time in his life, at a more serene space. So he liked to tell you that you didn't really see his challenged self, and his challenged self isn't desirable. He'd like to be able to tell you that you prevented a disaster in his life. The thought of you, the inspiration of you, the things you spoke about, and the things that you've made him reflect upon has helped him recover from a grievous betrayal and a disaster. And it has something to do with a man that's around that's very inquisitorial about him and his activity, and about people around him like yourself. So he's trying to protect you, basically. He's in a type of modus of self-imposed imprisonment, because he wants his freedom. Ultimately, he wants this time out so he can gain his freedom again. He wants to tell you that the only third party, he's very much alone now, but there was some women around him, he'd like to tell you, but he's since cut those associations off, because what you said to him, or the ideas that you gave him, reminded him in his darkest state, or darkest state of being, that he doesn't have to hit rock bottom to rise up. That's what you reminded him of. He's in quite a dire state presently. I feel that there has been somebody very negative around that could have betrayed him quite badly. And the thought of you and your guidance has helped him rise above this situation. So he's rejected somebody who was very negative about you, who was very negative around him generally, and he now feels the strength to move on in life. He'd like to tell you that he has some regeneration to do. He has to start again. He's just getting his freedom back soon into the future, and he'd like to explore that freedom. He'd like to be by himself again. He says the third party, there will be a third party, it will be my traveling, because I'm very much alone now. I was seeing other women, but I suddenly realized that they just wanted to betray me. That's what he's saying. That I was myself to blame for this situation, because my negative character sometimes gets in the way of relationships. However, my connection with you really helped me work through that negativity. And so I'm just in a very introverted state at the moment, but I'm working on getting out of that so I can seek out my success again. He wants to tell you that he'll be on his way soon, but he appreciates you. He's really seeking out some wisdom about his light, to balance his light and his dark, because he feels now that the success isn't the success that he felt before, the drive that he felt before has been cooled by his association with you. So he tends to know now how to act and how not to react. And he says his dark side is still very prevalent, but he's getting, because you connected him to a different side of himself, he's really trying to conquer that side, but he needs some time of self-discovery. So that's what he'll be doing into the future. He says there won't be any more women into the future competing with my love for you. It's just that I feel that the separation between us has been very sharp, has been very strong, has been very hard, and so I'm really just trying to focus on my renewed self. He's like, really, he's going to be a phoenix that rises from the ashes. That's what it tells me very clearly. And you stopped him from turning into dust. The thought of you stopped this person from really descending into the mire, so that he could take that one little spark and rise up into something malleable. Before, he was almost dust, but it's like you were the thought that kept him from totally being defeated. By this person. It's like you understood enough that he was able to use that knowledge to his advantage, so that he could basically conquer something like the devil. Not only the devil inside himself, but external to him. So he's just learning to dry his wings again. And I feel that's going to be the third party element here, because he is going to light the way back to you, but he has to grow in wisdom, as in the respect that he has to become more ethical, more grounded. He feels he has to strengthen his character, and I feel that he'll do that using his inner wisdom. Because before, I feel he was very intellectual, like very smart, but not exactly ethical, not exactly determined. He kind of didn't, he was kind of like, could be swept up into anything. But now he's learning to control those elements. So I feel that into the future, he's just regenerating, and he'd like to tell you that. that he would like to light the way back to you, but he's got some way to go. Okay, so that was deck 1. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can send me the funds with a message or you can email me. My Fiverr account is a service facility and you need your Google details or your Facebook details to log into that facility. See you next time. Hi there everyone. Thanks to my new subscribers and to my old subscribers. This is deck 2 for What Would He Tell You If He Could? Pick a card. You choose a number 1 or 2, of course, and the timestamps are in the description box, and you've chosen 2. What would he tell my channel viewer if he could? Of course, if this reading resonates, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can send me the funds with a message or you can email me. My Fiverr account is a service facility and you need your Facebook details or your Google details to log into that facility. So I get the impression here that your person would like to tell you that there are 2 sides to his character. He'd like to tell you that in the past he was being very dishonest. He was very fiery. He was quite assertive. He told a lot of fibs. He'd like to tell you that he was exploring his sexuality in the past. He'd like to tell you that he didn't care much for anything in the past. He was just getting swept up in everything and anything. He'd like to tell you that that energy that he was expending in the past has diminished significantly since he met you. He'd like to tell you that he wasn't totally honest with you when he met you, but he was going through something at the time. He was going through something where he felt he needed to self-protect. But he'd like to tell you that he's healed from that. He'd like to tell you that he's working very hard at the moment. It's very distracting. He's really working on his total being, his health, his wealth, his total well-being. He'd like to tell you that he's still traveling. And he'd like to tell you that the separation between you is diminishing. So I feel this is a guy who you were totally cut off from in the past, and you really didn't know whether. I feel you had a thought about him being either with men or women, and you didn't know, because I get the impression there was a third party when you met this person. He'd like to tell you that he's all about him for himself now. You made him decide to choose ladies to keep company with. I feel this person is very exploratory sexually, actually. So I feel that he's always been in an aggressive environment, a high achieving environment, and there was something about that environment which was I feel this guy gives me the impression he's like a pansexual. He's indifferent to labels. But it seems to me that he was being open-minded, but then you allowed him to focus on females. That's the impression I get. So I feel that he's showing off to you a bit. He'd like to tell you that he's working on something so that he can show off to you, so that he can be a man for you. He'd like to tell you that he's chosen himself. He'd like to tell you that he's really trying to channel that assertive side or that aggressive side into something constructive. And he'd like to tell you that he's seeking his success at the moment. So he's in a better frame of mind. Because there was some type of influence and that influence is gone. And I feel that influence was quite aggressive, dishonest, unwavering. Like I feel this person was led into high achievement by this person, but it was a mixture of like a high achieving environment mixed with dishonesty. So it's like a conditional high achieving environment, conditional one. And so he was under control of this person and it led your person into some difficult situations. That's the impression I get. So that's what he would tell you about. He would tell you about how he's really working on his wealth attainment goals. He would tell you that he doesn't feel defeated since he met you. He would tell you that you help him to feel better about himself. He would tell you that you help him to channel his energy into something. He would tell you that you help him find the right level of support so that he doesn't feel that the world is ending for him. So I feel like you've prevented a disaster for this person. And in some respects, this is very similar to the first deck. But it's a little bit different. Because I feel that your person is working on something and it's going to produce results. And that's going to prevent him from feeling totally betrayed. He will tell you he felt betrayed by you at some point. But he's since discovered that you weren't the betrayer, it was someone else. He will tell you that he feels very well supported by you. He will tell you that he appreciates your friendship and your faithfulness. And that makes him feel better. It makes him feel successful. It's like he has all this stuff going on, like work projects or personal projects. But I feel like you inspire him to do better, to ground his life, to face up to facts. Because you showed friendship to him. So I feel that he wants to tell you he appreciates your friendship. And that he understands that you didn't betray him at all. You were his faithful and loyal friend, and he was mistaken because he was lied to by somebody. So I feel this is another quite a good reading from the perspective that things could reprise themselves. I feel the separation is still pretty strong, and that's something that will have to be worked on. But the communication between you isn't so harsh. Like before, there was some blame for something, but now I feel because your person has channeled their energies, the feeling is better. The emotions have settled. So before you would have received back something very harsh if you'd written to your person, but into the future you'd receive back something that's fair, something that's loyal and friendly. I feel that I don't see a lot of love here except into the future because of this firm separation and how hard your person is working and how frequently they're traveling. So the distraction is very strong. They don't feel settled enough yet to express their emotions or to develop them, but it is possible into the future. And if you are able to bring this thing back together, your relationship would start off from friendship again and then grow into something more loving. Okay, so that was deck 2. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can send me the funds with a message or you can email me. My Fiverr account is a service facility, and you need your Google details or your Facebook details to log into that facility. See you next time.